The projector was still on. My presentation was on the screen. 20 executives were watching me. And then she stood up. The CEO's daughter. She didn't even look at my slides. She looked at me, smiled, and said, "We don't need your ideas anymore." The room went silent. And that was the moment they thought they had erased me. They were wrong. 3 weeks earlier, I received the biggest email of my life. Subject: final pitch approval, $80 million expansion project. I had worked 2 years on this concept. Late nights, no team, no investors, just me. When Titan Global invited me to pitch, I thought my life was changing. Titan Global was owned by one man, Victor Hale. Brilliant, ruthless. This is where my journey was just beginning. Billionaire. But he didn't handle daily operations anymore. His daughter did. Sophia Hale, Harvard MBA, head of strategy, future CEO. People said she was sharp. People also said she didn't like outsiders. I ignored that part. Big mistake. When I arrived at headquarters, something felt off. The receptionist avoided eye contact. 2 executives whispered when I walked by. And Sophia? She didn't shake my hand. She just said, "Let's make this quick." No smile, no warmth. But I stayed calm, because I knew something she didn't. My strategy wasn't just creative. It solved a problem Titan had been hiding for months. Declining international growth. Their Asia expansion was failing. And my model? It fixed it. 10 minutes into my pitch, the room was engaged. Graphs were clear. Revenue projections realistic. Was nodding. Then suddenly, Sophia raised her hand. I stopped speaking. She leaned back in her chair. "We don't need your ideas anymore." The words hit like a slap. The CFO looked confused. I blinked. "I'm sorry." She stood up. "We've decided to move forward internally. Our team has developed something stronger." Stronger? I had studied their team's last 3 failed launches. There was no way. The projector was turned off. My presentation disappeared, just like that. And security was called. As I packed my laptop, I heard whispers. Waste of time. She thought she could impress us. She's finished. But Sophia wasn't done. As I reached the door, she added, "And next time, don't build ideas around companies you don't understand." The door closed behind me. Elevator mirror. I looked at myself, embarrassed, angry, but not defeated. Because here's what she didn't know. My presentation wasn't just a pitch. It was also a test. 6 months earlier, Titan had quietly approached a foreign investor, a powerful private equity group. They were considering a $100 million partnership, had one condition: innovation proof. They wanted to see how Titan handled external disruptive strategy. They wanted transparency. They wanted humility. Victor Hale knew this. Sophia didn't, because Victor didn't trust her yet. And guess who had been consulting that private equity group anonymously? Me. They hired me to observe Titan's leadership, to test their openness, to see if ego was blocking growth. And today, Sophia just failed that test publicly. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. "Is this Emma Carter?" "Yes. This is Daniel Brooks from Northbridge Capital." Northbridge, the private equity firm. We watched the recording. Recording, of course. The pitch room was monitored. Silence. Then he said, "We're withdrawing from Titan." My heart raced. Effective immediately. They treated me. Because of leadership arrogance. Because of public humiliation. And guess who Northbridge wanted to invest in instead? Me. 1 week later, Titan stock dropped 14%. News broke that a major investor had pulled out. Speculation started. Internal chaos followed. And then, Victor Hale requested a private meeting. Not with his daughter, with me. I walked back into the same building. This time no whispers, only tension. Victor was older than I expected. Calm, observant. I saw the footage, he said. No anger, just disappointment. In this company, we test ideas. We don't silence them. I didn't respond. He continued. You weren't there for funding, were you? I smiled slightly. No. Silence. Then he asked the question. What do you want? This is where most revenge stories end. But mine didn't. I didn't ask for money. I didn't ask for apology. I asked for something else. Give me control of the Asia expansion division. Victor's eyes narrowed. That's my daughter's project. Not anymore. 3 days later, Sophia was removed as head of strategy. Officially, restructuring. Unofficially, failure of leadership. And me? I became the youngest division director in Titan history. The same room where I was humiliated now reported to me. 2 months later, Sophia requested a meeting. No assistants, no board, just us, confident. Did you plan this? She asked. No. I paused. But I prepared for disrespect. Silence. Then she said quietly, I thought you were trying to outshine me. I responded, I was trying to help your company. She looked down, and for the first time, no arrogance, just realization. 6 months later, Asia expansion became Titan's most profitable division. Victor officially stepped down. The board voted for the new CEO. It wasn't me. It wasn't Sophia. It was both of us, co-CEOs, because Victor believed something important. Power without humility destroys companies. But competition with respect builds empires. Sophia turned to me during the announcement and whispered, I'm glad I interrupted you that day. I raised an eyebrow. Why? Because if I didn't, I would have never learned. Said, we don't need your ideas anymore, was the day they unknowingly built the future around me. And sometimes, revenge isn't destroying someone. It's becoming impossible to ignore.